war is launched.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another edition of AF24 News Talks. This is the sports edition, and today I'm joined by AF24 News correspondent Mr. Gideon Adonai. He covers sports for us here at AF24 News, and it's a special time, in Africa right now for African football. We are currently playing the Africa Cup of Nations, the 2023 edition. It's holding right now in Cote d'Ivoire, and we've already gone through some games on match day one. And I just want to get some thoughts so far on what Mr. Gideon thinks about the games we have seen.
Okay, thank you so much, Wisdom. I want to comment that we've had three main games that have ended sadly, from the fans. Do you want to talk about Nigeria? You want to talk about Ghana? Or you want to talk about Egypt right there? I'd like to start, of course, with Nigeria, because the expectations have been so high from the fans, looking at the likes of what Victor Osimhen has done in Napoli, in fact, winning the African Best Player of the Year. So you cannot imagine how you have to, first of all, concede a goal before you start fighting. I mean, you saw that first goal right there at the back. I know that many people have been lambasting Jose Peseiro for his defensive errors, so to say, maybe for how he organized his players, or maybe for some tactical errors right there. But of course, we can see that we had at least 6 people in that box line. 6 people in that box line. I mean, what was a contrast doing? Semi Ajayi and all of them allowing that goal. Well, if that was not enough, I'd like to probably comment on the wasteful efforts of the player. I really want to commend Ademola Lookman. Look at that cross. It was very beautiful, finding Victor Osimhen at the right time. But what can we say about the lost chance by Moses Simon? Victor Osimhen, for instance, finding you and then waiting for you to give him back the ball so that he can score, then you wasting the chance is actually not something that can be talked about. Just imagine that was a Champions League final. Imagine that was a Champions League final. We can always talk about this because, of course, it's painful. When you look at the last AFCON, these guys won clearly the 3 games. You want to talk about Sudan, you want to talk about Egypt, or you want to talk about the Guinea-Bissau that they are playing right now. So I really think that Jose Peseiro, the coach, made a lot of tactical errors. Okay, for instance, if you want to talk about the defensive line changes, taking out Ola, that has always been at the front, attacking, creating chances, and then bringing in Semi Ajayi, who is actually a close defender who does not go out. Okay, people might want to argue that was because Yusuf was down on injury, but I still believe that it was not the best effort. Okay, this is not just like I want to deliberately maybe give some knocks to the coach, but of course the coach has not done enough. The kind of doings that you're supposed to do to motivate your players to go out there, to push them. I've discussed with my friends earlier that just imagine you had a Diego Simeone coaching this team. I don't think we'll be having these results because clearly watching that game, that these guys should have won 5-1 or 5-0. 5-1 or 5-0. The data is there. Statistics says that at least they had about 17 shots. 17 shots, maybe about 7 on target. About 7 on target. Okay, just take a look at the case of bringing in Frank Oyeka instead of Bruno Onyedikachi. That guy has been very fantastic for his team, his club side. So, well. It's a lot to talk about. I think they have a lot on their hands in our next game on Thursday, perhaps. On Thursday, definitely. because that's when they will be playing Ivory Coast, the host. It's going to be a tough game, but I we all hope that the Super Eagles will fly once again.
Yes, thank you. I also want to ask you a little bit about some of the other games we saw. We saw a trend, I think, from some of the apart from the hosts themselves, from Cote d'Ivoire themselves. I think big teams have sort of struggled to bring that fear factor back into this competition for themselves. When we look at past winners that have won multiple AFCONs, they struggle, they seem to struggle on game week one. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, the fear is no longer there when you talk about you want to play Nigeria, you want to play Ghana, or you want to play, or you're talking about Egypt. The fear is no longer there. Okay, look at Mozambique. Mozambique dealing seriously with Egypt. You know, it was all like Egypt, this was going to be a walk away for Egypt, but then holding them down. If not for the penalty kick that Mo Salah was able to convert, clearly that would have just been a loss for them. They were so lucky. So, and then, in fact, Ghana has been a talk, a talk on Twitter, Nigeria, for instance. If you look at Ghana was expected to win that Cape Verde game as their first game, but then there is no show for Ghana because they actually lost the game 2-1. Clearly everybody was expecting that Ghana will do well. Ghana will, it was this Ghana actually that denied Nigeria of course, going to the previous World Cup. And there was so much expectation from them. We expected them to do Africa proud because it's an African thing. If Nigeria would not win their game, of course, Ghana should try and win. But then Cape Verde are not a regular. So when you're talking about the big disappointments from all these big teams, we don't have so much to say because it's unexpected. It's unexpected of them to lose like this. But this is football. Let's not forget. There's no big team because all the underdogs now are now big teams. They are now big teams.
That was what I wanted to comment on. It. I want to hear your opinion on that because we've seen Equatorial Guinea, struggle to get a draw versus Nigeria. We've seen Mozambique, hold Egypt down and Cape Verde, as you said. So, what would you say about like the competitiveness of AFCON right now?
Well, if you're looking at this AFCON, I think there are still a lot of surprises that we'll see. Uh, Take for instance, we don't have a lot of shock from Senegal, tearing into pieces Gambia. That's pretty good. But of course, we still expect surprises from other teams. For instance, from the match day 2, we are expecting surprises to come at least from the Super Eagles. For instance, I have an opinion that if this Super Eagles team starts on a bad note, they always end well. And most people have been thinking maybe it's a trend for you to get better motivation, looking at Argentina and how they were beaten in their first game, the World Cup. But we expect surprises to happen for Ghana to pick up again. We expect Egypt at least to try their best. But then Tunisia are yet to play their game as well as Cameroon. So we are still expecting a lot of surprises. Who knows, maybe the big guns might even be out. Who knows if the big guns might even be out. And you cannot really easily guess the winner of the AFCON. But I believe that Senegal will go far.
That's a very early prediction by Mr. Adonai. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, for giving us your thoughts on the games or the games. And I just want to know what the viewers think. What do you think about the next game week we're going into? I think Thursday is the beginning of game week 2. And we're going to see every group, like from Thursday forward, try to get another chance to either pick up their first points or continue extending their great start. So let me just know in the comment section what you think, and also follow AF24 News on social media to continue receiving updates on the competition as it progresses. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well to continue receiving updates on AF24 News Talks every week. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful